Hey everyone, Esper here, also known as Emmett. So Halloween is over, but 2026 is just getting started, which means we've got a whole another year of incredible horror and scary, spooky content to go through. Today I'm going to be talking about Ibitsu by Haruto Ryo. So Ibitsu, horror manga by Haruto Ryo. It's kind of like a slasher style manga, you know, think like 90s-esque horror like Jason, except instead of it being a guy with a mask who looks kind of funky underneath, it is a Gothic Lolita girl. And that's kind of scary, right? Except she is all tattered and her outfit's all messed up, and she's, the opening scene, she's sitting in a pile of garbage. Now, fair warning, Ibitsu, this is a twisted, perverted, messed up novel. Actually, Ibitsu in Japanese means twisted and kind of perverted. So, you know, just be warned that this is a pretty messed up book. It features a lot of graphic imagery and, you know, not safe for work things. So we're not going to directly talk about all of that today, but we're definitely going to be talking about kind of like the beginning of the story and my initial thoughts and what I thought about the novel overall, or the manga overall. So Ibitsu features a demon Lolita girl. What is a Lolita girl? Well, Gothic Lolita is a type of, you know, dress or, you know, subculture, fashion style that is typically used, you know, either in cosplay or, you know, in certain Japanese regions as kind of like a fashion statement. And in this case, it's used on a creepy demon girl. Awesome. So this is a pretty short read. It came out as a one-shot initially. Now I have like the omnibus, which has like the complete story as well as some side stories, but we're just gonna be talking about the main story for now in this video. Now, full transparency, before I get into things, I wanna say that this is like not my typical dig, right? I typically like a more psychological horror type of abstract, like you think you know what's going on, and then you're not even like in the same universe or same realm of reality where like, that's a famous type of like core concept is where, you know, somebody is, you know, going about their life and learning about how incidents are coming true based off of a written novel, and then realizing that they're in that novel and everything that they've done so far has been written in that, like that kind of stuff, you know. This is not that. It still does what it does extremely well. This is more like, think like 90s slasher, like a crazy like creature coming to, you know, get you. Ooh, scary, boo, you know. So what really stands out about this book or this manga is that it really makes you, or at least for me, it made me feel pretty uncomfortable throughout the read, and not in like a, oh my god, I want to stop reading way, almost like a, oh my god, this is like really strange, but I can't look away type of way. So it was a really good read. I don't know if I'd reread it again because I feel like I've kind of explored most of the ideas and plot behind it. Maybe I haven't, maybe I need to revisit it, but it's definitely something I'd recommend if you're into like slashers or, you know, just kind of like urban legends, you know, you're not afraid of gore, you're not afraid of like kind of creepy imagery, then Ibitsu is perfect for you then. Yeah, so Ibitsu, it's repulsive, but in like the best horror-esque type of way. I really enjoyed it. Now let's get into the story. So you're walking home and it's dark outside, and as you turn a corner down the street, you see a street lamp illuminating a pile of garbage. And in that pile of garbage is a girl wearing a Lolita costume. The costume is completely torn and ragged, and the girl underneath looks questionable at best. Now our main character, thank God, has the common sense to, you know, at least go to the other side of the road while he's walking past this person who is clearly, you know, giving off quite a few red flags. So our main character, Kazuki, a totally normal college guy, doing all the right things, walks past this girl. And before I go any further, I'd like to ask you guys a question. Now, what has been the most, like, that you've regretted answering a question, right? I'm sure that, like, there have been circumstances where maybe you're on public transport, or, you know, you're in the gym, and, you know, somebody comes up to you and they ask you a question, and you respond, you know, just being polite, and it turns into like kind of an uncomfortable ongoing conversation that you weren't initially invested in, you know, beginning. I think we all have been in the circumstance where we've answered a question and been like, why didn't I just say nothing, right? Well, what if answering a question had more consequences? What if it was a matter of life and death? Now, as our main character, Kazuki, walks past this demon Lolita girl, she looks up at him and says, "Would you have a little sister?" Now, Kazuki does have a little sister, so, you know, just trying to be polite, he answers, sure, you know, or yes, kind of, like, just like a general, like, yeah, whatever, you know, and just scurries on. Well, Kazuki probably shouldn't have said anything. because only moments later, this girl has followed him to his apartment. She is banging on the door and begging to use his sink to wash her stuffed animal. And again, I feel like in horror, a lot of times you see like the decisions certain main characters make, and you're just like, oh my god, like why did you do that? Like, get out of the room with the murderer. Don't go back for your friends. It's fine. They're dead. Or, you know, like, let's not go into the hole in the ground that is a new, like, reverberate. Don't go in the hole in the ground. I don't know what I'm saying. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, at least in this, you know, manga, our main character makes like pretty logical decisions throughout, and you know, a good example of this is he tells her, no, don't come into my apartment, but that doesn't matter. The Lolita demon, or Lolita girl in this instance, because our main character doesn't necessarily know what's going on, forces her way inside and runs to the sink and starts washing her stuffed animal. And you know, this is a girl who was just sitting in a pile of garbage before, and she's not clean, her stuffed animal's not clean, and as she's washing the stuffed animal, just black, oily tar and goo is getting everywhere. It's like the first sign in the manga, or at least one of the major signs in the manga, that like something is going wrong here. And even when she finally leaves, Kazuki remarks how it's like a struggle to get out the stench of the goo and whatever it was that was, you know, covering or, you know, just inside this stuffed animal first. Now, as, you know, typical with most horror stories, things do not get better from here. The next day, he sees the Lolita girl again in the same spot, underneath the street lamp, in the pile of garbage. In fact, actually, the pile of garbage that he just took out, and she has the garbage bag open. And she's looking at him, and she says, "Thank you for letting me wash, you know, my stuffed animal. He was so dirty." And then he's like, you know, like, doesn't really want to interact with this person, which, you know, can you blame him? The dude's like, leave me alone, right? And that's when she starts to list everything he's had to eat for the last week. Every ingredient, every little detail, with the trash bag open. So it's clear that this girl is giving kind of like stalker energy, right? Or, you know, maybe psychopathic stalker energy. She even pulls out an adult DVD from his garbage with a rather specific sister-themed cover on the front of it. And that's when I think one of like the darkest theme of the story really sets in, right? Because even in the manga, this girl, this like Lolita demon, keeps referring to the main character as Oni-chan, which is like big brother in Japanese, or brother in Japanese, right? Which, like, we all know the memes like Oni-chan, it's like kind of cringe, or maybe not. I don't think it's cringe. I think it's hilarious, honestly. But in this, it's really quite disturbing, because every creepy, desperate, and just kind of like twisted thing she does, it circles back to this idea that this is her big brother, and she's doing it because she wants this like kind of bond or relationship, or to be like acknowledged by, you know, like a family member almost. And this is one of those early signs that shows that Haruto Ryo shows us like just how psychopathic this girl really is. So even beneath the Lolita dress and like all the pleas as someone's like little sister, it really, you know, goes to show that there's something like dark and twisted, kind of messed up happening with this like character, right? Well, the goofy, silly shenanigans continue, and Kazuki comes to his apartment the next day and sees everything has been totally clean, spotless, which he pays no mind to, because he actually does have a little sister that comes to his apartment to clean everything. This guy is screwed. He's screwed. And from here, each and every uncomfortable encounter centered around this idea of, you know, this guy being her new brother, it becomes more twisted and grotesque and like just messed up as the manga continues. So in chapter 2, things do not slow down at all. It shows Kazuki with his little sister, you know, just being with each other and like smiling and being happy. And the Lolita demon sees this, and she is not happy about it. Now our main character later on wakes up to the sound of smacking, like, you know, just chewing, like something in the background, and the lights are off, and he doesn't like really, you know, understand what's happening or see what's going on. He just sees like the figure of a woman in his room eating something, and, you know, he's half asleep, and he's just like, oh, that's just my little sister, and, you know, she's just coming for a late night snack or whatever, and then kind of goes back to sleep. Yeah. It's only when he receives a phone call in the middle of the night while he's sleeping that wakes him up from his actual little sister that he realizes someone else is in his house. And he's even like, who is there? Who is in my house? But no one's there. Right? So we basically established that this Lolita girl has access to Kazuki's house, is eating. It wasn't even his food he was eating. I'm not even going to tell you what he's eating because I think you guys should read it. You know, spoiler, if you want, if you're going to read this, I guess go read it now. I guess I'll tell you what's going on. She's actually eating his little sister's lipstick that he left there, and then like chewing on just like random pieces of garbage, and then like sniffing his clothes. Like, this is a deeply disturbed individual that you do not want in your house. Kazuki is not in for a good time. But I feel like everything that's happened up till this point, you know, it's been kind of strange. But Kazuki hasn't like been really aware of, you know, maybe some of the other things that have been going on in the background. He has, you know, he has main character horror syndrome, you know, where the main character is like kind of oblivious to some things. He does make good decisions, but he's not fully aware of what's going on until he has an uncomfortable conversation with his landlord where she's like, hey, you know, I gave your sister, you know, the master key for the apartment complex days ago, and she still hasn't returned it. You tell that good-for-nothing girl to come back and give me my key. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, right? We both know. Like, you and I both kind of understand. He doesn't understand. So he calls his sister, and she's like, I don't have the key. And then he's like, then who took the key? It's then when he realizes, when he's away from home, but his sister is at his apartment complex. And he pleads her not to go into his apartment complex. And you know how siblings can be, right? She's just like, oh, you're just trying to hide your new girlfriend from me. Like, I'm just being a nosy sister, haha, like, I'm gonna go inside. Like, the door's open, who's there? And that's the end of chapter 2. And in that's as far as I want to go into the story for now. I just wanted to kind of like set the landscape for kind of where the story goes. Things go so far downhill from there. That's just like the first, you know, little bit of the manga, and from there, you know, the things that you would expect to see in horror movies and read in horror manga do happen, and the things that you like don't want to happen do happen. Okay, but I'm going to stop the tease there. Trust me, I could keep going, but I want to, you know, keep things as, you know, short and kind of like more conversational as I can. If you guys kind of like this idea where I'm kind of describing my reactions to manga and stuff and want me to go over like the full story of maybe a short story or manga, please tell me. I'm more than willing to do it. I almost want to just like be respectful of people that actually want to read the novel. I mean, I guess they could click away too, so it's just kind of an experiment. I'm still kind of trying to figure out like exactly what I want to do here. So if everything I've kind of described to you so far has your interest, I highly recommend buying the physical media. If you're into, you know, like collecting manga and, you know, want like a slasher style horror flick, the translation in the manga is like, you know, much better. There's certain scenes, like even in some of the panels that I'll be referencing, the translation is like a little bit different, and I feel like less authentic than you get when you actually read the physical media. That's just like the nature of reading something online for free, though. I know like most people probably just read manga online for free, but I'm a big advocate for buying the physical stuff, supporting the authors. I mean, that is if, you know, you're able to financially. If not, you know, and you really want to read the story, I would say, you know, just go read it online. So Haruto Ryo does like an excellent job of making you feel like extremely uncomfortable. A lot of the scenes, I kind of like, I'm like pretty desensitized to most horror, and even like looking at some of the panels, I was like, ooh. You know that feeling you get when you see like a death scene and it's like it kind of catches you off guard, like you know something's going to happen, and then like it just happens, but like you weren't prepared for it. I feel like this manga does that really well in terms of its storytelling. Another thing I really like within this manga is like the different types of low and high shots it has within the manga panels. It really emphasizes like some of the emptiness or like singling onto a certain character, and then like sometimes from down low, like some of the like the Lolita girl looks like even more menacing because like all the angles are skewed. I think that's like really cool, especially in like film and cinematography, just like the way you can really change a story from with like different angles. Like for instance, if you guys are all the way down here, maybe I look like a little different for some reason or another. Or if you see me from all the way up here, it almost distorts me to make me look like I'm very small. All in all, I think Ibitsu does like a pretty good job. It's not like really my stick, you know, for horror. It leans more towards like the slasher side of things, which I think is cool still. But you know, I think Ibitsu, Haruto Ryo, did like a really good job of like portraying the genre and like his take on it. But I definitely enjoyed the experience. He really nails like that raw, straightforward horror that some people like. So if you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, hit subscribe, leave a comment below what your thoughts are. So my name's Emmett or Esper. I'm trying to post a video on YouTube, just online, every single day for 2026 and just see what happens, kind of like a documentation, almost like a diary, and you're along for the journey if you want to be. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. If you see a girl in a pile of garbage, probably call the police. Honestly, you should probably go talk to them. You should probably talk to them because that person probably needs help, right? Anyway, I'll catch you guys on the next one. This has been my manga review of Ibitsu. I will see you guys later.